Alright guys, so we're going to be drawing tonight a 2013 8335R with the IVT transmission. If you're on YouTube watching this, you can get the information there from Carter, who's in my comments. He's the one who sent me this drawing. And anyway, I got TikTok streaming right now too. I don't know if it's going to stick or not. I've been having issues with that phone, but it's on for now. So I guess we'll just go ahead and dig right into this thing and see where we can get to tonight. I've got some severe weather coming in tonight. Supposed to be some nasty storms coming in, so I'm not sure I'll get to finish this one. We'll see if we can get a good jump on it at least. And I forgot to switch over. That's what we're drawing. There we go. All right, so go ahead and start drawing over here. I'm going to kind of do similar to last night's style, where I'm not heavily focused on the background. I want to do something nice with these green tanks. I think they're green bins. I think that would be pretty cool, but I'm not focused too much. In the reference photo I got, there's a bunch of trees here. I might draw them in later, but I'm not putting much detail in the background. I just really wanted to focus on tractor and the truck, I think, is the best way to approach this one. Really interested in drawing these green bins. That's what drew me into this whole picture. I like drawing green bins. They get kind of hectic, but they normally turn out pretty good. I've drawn, I think, 2 sets in the past on different drawings, and they turn out really good. So we're going to try again here. So welcome. As a heads up, your stream is very quiet. My computer full volume is just enough. Well, I think we can take care of that too. Let's see. Is that loud enough? That looks a little bit better. Is it better now? Let me know if I need to go louder or quieter. Appreciate you letting me know those type things. It's kind of tough to figure out. I've got the same microphone I've used in the same setup, but it seems like something's good. So if you're on TikTok, there's not much I can do to adjust the volume, because pretty far away from the camera there. Sounds like I'm just talking a little quieter, so hopefully that's better. All right, I'm looking over at my feedback, and it appears that it is a little bit better than it was, so hopefully that's good. It's a lot for me to run the drawing and the studio side of it together all at once. So doing my best here. Hopefully y'all can hear me now. Okay, there's that. We got something like that. I'm just filling in a bunch of white right now. We'll come back and shade some of the other stuff in a bit. I'm just going to stay on this white color as far as I can. This is where it gets difficult to do here. Okay. Rest of this. This is a tough angle to draw at. I'm kind of upside down to draw this stuff, so anxious to get this done with so I can move to something that's a little bit better angle. These are the type of things where I would rather just draw it on a drawing board so I could turn it upside down and draw this at a better angle, but you can't really film as easily on that, so you're stuck watching me draw awkwardly. Okay. Very old setup with a clear table. It's pretty much very old setup with a clear table, and that was pretty much it. You've gone far. Yeah, my original setup was actually just a piece of like masonite that had a cell phone kind of dangling over top of my shoulder. It was awful. I go back to those videos now and like I don't understand why people actually followed me with that crap. Even, you know, talent given, it's like it was unbearable to watch. It really, it really was. So I appreciate y'all sticking around with me. We have came a long ways. I still got some stuff to do. I need to invest in a better microphone and a better camera, but you know, got it much better than it was. So appreciate y'all for noticing. Found it enjoyable. Thanks. It's relaxing, that's for sure. Alright, for those watching on TikTok, if I happen to drop out, join me over on YouTube. Streaming on YouTube also. This phone that I'm streaming on TikTok with has been giving me some trouble today. So, if I happen to lose signal, join me over there. And if you see me start running randomly, well, we've got some severe weather coming in here. You'll probably hear a tornado siren in the background. And I don't know what we got coming. It's supposed to start in about an hour, so I probably won't be done this in that time period. We'll have to wait and see. I like how that's turning out. Your microphone now seems perfect since it's so quiet there. On TikTok, the microphone sounds pretty good. The issue I have is on YouTube. I've got a weird hum that I can't get rid of, which is really a shame because otherwise YouTube is like amazingly awesome for this. But I need to get a better microphone for YouTube. It's also extremely hot in here. I'm like sweating bullets. Air conditioning's working, but it's not real strong in this room. I switched offices with my daughter's bedroom. This used to be her bedroom. Now it's my office. And it's been a really good transition. The downside to it being it's really hot in this room because the vents don't quite put out enough. I've got a fan here, but the fan makes a lot of noise, so when I'm on, you know, on live or in meetings at work, I gotta shut the fan off, so it's kind of a pain. Okay, I think we're ready to start shading this green bin out. We'll come back to this bottom. We're gonna have to darken the bottom up a little bit. all this stuff to the side will be covered up and not visible, so I don't have to worry too much about it. I heard people in YouTube chat are way cooler too. That's a true statement. The people in the YouTube chat end up talking more, and I mean I tend to draw their stuff more than I do the non-YouTube people. How's that for a gimmick to get people to go over to YouTube? I mean, right now, the people that are in my YouTube chat have 2 more drawings drawn this week than the people in my TikTok chat. That's just a fact. Can't deny it. It's just a fact. What do you think of that, Carter? My son's name is Carter. My second son's name's Carter. And every time I see Carter's name pop into there, that's what I think of immediately. So. Okay, that one turned out pretty good. I'm going to add some white to the right side here to lighten it up. A little bit. Okay, that green bin's done. I might have to put some trees in here in the back yet. I don't know. I don't really want to. I don't particularly like drawing stick trees. I kind of feel like I have to an extent, but don't necessarily want to. So we'll see where that goes. I need to darken up this side of the green bin. I thought I was done, but I really need right here to be just a little bit darker. Not that far. I should start one of those Amazon wish lists. What do you think of that? That looks better. Give it a little more rounded look to that one. And with that said, I'm going to jump into the truck. I mean, I'm not going to jump into the truck. I'm going to start drawing the truck. A mirror over here. It appears. Sweat dripping down my face. That's for sure. All right, what was this truck? Truck is a Ford Sterling with a Cat 3406E engine without a Jake brake. We have another Sterling tuned to 475 horsepower. This green truck isn't tuned to nearly as much horsepower. Good information. I like it. So we're starting on this truck. Am I correct in saying that this truck is out of Canada, if I remember correctly? Bearing down pretty hard here, trying to kind of saturate this with white because it's a white truck. I want it to look white. If I was drawing another color truck, then I wouldn't want it to look white. It's like that guy that goes on TikTok and it's like, this is a such and such. You can tell it's a such and such because of the way it is. Kind of what I just did there. I like it. like I had this like just a half a smidgen too far to the left. Whoa, that was loud. I didn't know what that was. A message come in on my computer and it scared the heck out of me. I don't know if y'all heard it, but that was extremely loud for no reason. Okay, now I've got one end of this I'm going to sand down to make clean, so I can work with white on it. The other end will be dark. Let's go ahead and start smashing in some of this white. And all I'm doing here is just pressing it into the paper so that it smudges a little bit less. Trying to brighten the white just a little bit. And then just a hair of gray here. Right, like there. And kind of the same thing on the side here. Just very light. A little bit towards the bottom of the door going up. And then the side of the door, there's, I'm not going to put a name on it, but there is a little rectangle here. Logo some sort. Sure it's the farm name or something. Okay. Truck has a 13-speed in it, but no fifth wheel. So I can drive it with my Class 5 license because where I'm from, you can drive a Class 3 farm truck with a Class 5. That's cool. As soon as it had a fifth wheel, it becomes a Class 1. I'm done. Gotta go to a local city to get my Class 1. Class 5 license, just regular driver's license. I gotcha. I know when I was growing up, you could get a farm license, which basically allowed you to drive tractors on the road before you could get a driver's license, and it also allowed you to drive certain size farm trucks on the road. And then out here in Nebraska, where I'm at, you can get a school license at like 14 years old to be able to drive to school, which is kind of unheard of in Maryland, where I'm originally from. My dad had a Freightliner FL70. It was a little Freightliner. It did not have a fifth wheel, it just had a gooseneck ball on it, which actually in our area we actually call it a fifth wheel, but it catches a lot of heat on the internet if you call that a fifth wheel. Anyway, nonetheless, if it didn't have a trailer hooked to it, I could drive it on the street without a CDL license. However, if I hooked it to a trailer, it became a CDL. You had to have a CDL to drive it. So and then we had a dump truck at my work that had air brakes, so that one automatically needed a CDL license, but I didn't know that. And I was actually driving it one day for work, and the brake lines blew out on it. And it was a pretty big problem for me. That has all passed at this point. Driving tractors before I hit puberty. I also was. There's pictures of me driving way too big of tractors at way too young of age. It was a different world back then, though. It really was. And, I mean, in reality, farms are a different world than what my kids are growing up around. I've moved away from the farm. I do not live on a farm anymore myself. I live in the middle of Nebraska, and there's farms all around me, but my kids are city kids, unfortunately. It's not their fault. It's just what we raised them in. Nothing wrong with that. They know where their food comes from, at least, and have a good, healthy understanding of what it takes to work, but not to the level a farm kid has. That's for sure. I'm gonna be done the truck real soon here. I love the farm life. I did too. Wouldn't have traded it for anything. Though, I guess I kind of did trade it for anything, because I do not live on a farm anymore, so. Be cool to go back to, but just don't know that it's possible in this day and age to start farming from scratch. Seems impossible. As long as they can drink out of a garden hose without getting sick, they'll turn out fine. Oh, I always preferred a garden hose. Something about the plastic of it that just tasted better. Oh man, that one, for some reason when you said that, that brought back some weird memories. I had a cat growing up. First of all, I want to point out my dad didn't like cats. He never liked cats. But my grandmother loved cats. And my grandmother had too many cats, and my dad would go nuts because of my grandmother's cats and all these cats. Well, we had one cat growing up, just kind of a barn cat, just to keep the mice down. And I guess she ended up finding a neighbor's barn cat and had kittens. Well, one of the kittens I kept, and we named him Puny, because he was the runt of the litter, a little tiny cat. And I don't know why, I just remember coming around the corner of the house one day where the garden hose is, and I looked over and Puny's like sitting there, like got its head stuck in a coffee can, or some type of small can. And I just remember yelling, "Daddy, Daddy, look at Puny!" And that's like one of my first memories I have, like really, really young. I was very, very young. That's like my first memory that I have is looking at that cat in the corner of the house where our garden hose was, with its head stuck in a can. Unfortunately, the cost of getting into farming is about $3 million, which is pretty unreasonable. No kidding. Garden hoses get extra minerals. Had a company show up once. It was really little, and apparently me and my siblings are running through the garden sprinklers naked. I mean, sure, that's farm life, right? Anyway, my dad, there was this one time he went into this little hardware shop in our hometown called Albert's Hardware. And I think it's safe to say this because I think Albert's dead by now, but the place smelled like really bad, like cat piss. And my dad walked into the place and immediately walked out and threw up on the sidewalk and gave my brother, who was maybe 10 at the time, money and told him to go in and get whatever he needed because my dad couldn't go into that place. And anyway, that was kind of like the beginning of Dad doesn't like cats. And then after, I guess, about 6 or 7 years ago, my brother moved in to what used to be my dad's house, and my dad ended up living in a camper in the driveway. It's just what worked better for them. But anyway, they when they moved, there was this stray cat from their place named Thomas that they had been, feeding and kind of taking care of, but it was really just a stray that was at my brother's place. This cat moved in. Cat moved in because he stowed away on a horse trailer they was using to move his stuff. So anyway, it came over and my dad ended up falling in love with this cat. And so Thomas was the first cat that my dad loved. And he talked to that cat like daily. And then anyway, the cat's still alive after my dad passed. They kind of like just kept the cat around. And it's Dad's a cat, and the guy who didn't like cats buried a cat in Nature Valley granola box coffin once. Sorry if you're lost. Didn't mean to laugh there, but that is pretty funny. I like that you were specific in the brand of the box. That was a nice touch. I like it. Okay. I need to put a sharper edge on this window, a couple directions, and a couple shades. This might end up being my last stream for about a week or so. I head next week to Wyoming for a trip. I leave Sunday and we'll be back to the following Sunday, and I honestly doubt I'll have a chance to stream from out there. Probably draw a few things, but I probably won't get a chance to stream. So, all right, that one just turned out really good when I just added that last line in there. And I mean, I hate to be surprised when stuff like that happens because I do plan it, but that was a nice surprise that it actually looked as good as it did. Clearly, Granny was babysitting at the time, didn't know what to do. Freaking granola box sat in a snowbank for 3 months before the ground thawed. We could bury it. Your story gets even better. Good grief. Truck's looking good. Alright, grab a quick drink here. Talking too much. Mouth's drying out. Alright, I think I can go about that far. I think I'll move my camera just a little bit. Let's move it back. Hopefully that'll be good. Alright, start on the top of this grain bin. I can put these others down for a minute. I'm going through pencils like crazy lately. I'm drawing a lot. And I'd say I use about a whole pencil in each drawing. I normally start with 3 or 4 pencils, but they all get a lot shorter as I go. We should get on a voice call on one of these streams. Not really sure how to do that. I guess I can move back to this bin here, work on it quick, since we don't have much of it showing. Yep, and just like that, TikTok died. Yeah, that's the issue I've been having. The phone just completely freezes up and drops out. Let's see if I can go back. Yeah, there we go. Alright, well, maybe some people will come over to YouTube since TikTok keeps dying. We'll see. Discord is my go-to. I have never used Discord for anything. I've heard a lot of people talk of it. I've never used it for anything. I'll have to look into it. Okay. I got some more green bin in here I've got to do, don't I? Darn. So on TikTok yesterday it died, but I never came back. I couldn't get it to come back yesterday. It came back today, it looks like, but I don't know. It's weird. I don't really understand it because it works really good and then suddenly it just automatically just dies. And I didn't notice it last night on TikTok until it was too late, and then it just wouldn't come back. So it is what it is. Good looking green truck. I think it'll look even better once we get this tractor beside it. Alright. I see the clouds are starting to move in. We don't have storms yet. We got some clouds moving in. So, alright, do I have a sharper pencil? The farm didn't run any green except for them old lime Stegers until about 2000 when we got that 7510 that you reviewed yesterday. Then we switched to full green and never went back. Well, my grandfather's farm had one John Deere tractor. It was I think it was a 52, could be wrong on the year, MC Crawler bulldozer. He had that for, well, for years and years. And then, let's see, my dad had one John Deere, and it was a 140 John Deere lawnmower. That was all the green we had. I'm trying to think if we had anything else. I think that was the only green we had. My grandfather wasn't picky on tractors. He farmed with whatever was cheapest on the auction block that no one else wanted. So he had a ton of junk. A couple Olivers in there. Not good ones. A Ford, big Ford. That was the first tractor I ever drove, I think. He ended up buying a Long brand tractor. In the process of that, that was actually a pretty nice tractor. We very medium-sized utility tractor. Did really good for what we had it to do. And then he had a International 574 and an International 460. 460, I think. And then had a Farmall M. Had two of those. One of them had a mounted corn picker on it, like the 2MH corn picker. And one of them had the had a loader on it. It was not designed for it. We had a bunch of mixed mess junk. Just junk. The 574 International, my grandfather ended up getting killed on that. He ended up, he never wore shorts a day in his life. He's, mid to late 70s, and my grandmother bought him shorts one day, and he put them on and went out. He was refueling the tractor while it was still running, and he went to jump down off the tractor, and it caught the bottom of the shifter, caught the bottom of his pants leg on his shorts, and knocked it into gear, knocked him off the back of it. Ended up dragging him through the dairy with a woods mower behind it, and ended up bad shape. So mainly Allis Stegers before John Deere. We also had a Case Steger for a while. Recently got a Kubota extra haying tractor, which was the first non-John Deere I bought in a long time. So a little Guineas too for a pallet tractor. That's cool. Nice. Anyway, my dad, most of we had a little sweet corn farm. I say a little sweet corn farm. It was still too much sweet corn to do by hand, and we did most of it by hand. So had a CA Allis Chalmers that we used for cultivating. Had mounted cultivators on it. And then the 340 International with a loader on it. What else we have? A bunch of Farmall M's, Super M's, that type of stuff. We always had those just around. They just happened to be there all the time. Currently, the only tractors I own is two lawnmowers. I own a John Deere 110 and the John Deere 110. Have two of them. One of them was my great-grandfather's tractor. He bought it brand new, 1972. Fun story with that one. The other one's my wife's grandfather's tractor. He bought that new in '67. The one of my great-grandfather, though, he bought it because he worked at a distillery as a groundskeeper and kind of a manager of the distillery. And he would drive it to work. That was his car. So he put tons of miles on this thing throughout its life and throughout his life. And he bought it in '72. A Hurricane Agnes came up the East Coast. And it was only, a month or two after he bought the thing. And he had driven it to work and, got called in to work for, there was flooding that was potentially happening. So they were sealing up the distillery so that, sandbags so that it wouldn't destroy everything. Well, he was in there working on it, and as he came out to go home, he looked over and his tractor was underwater in the Patapsco River. And the only thing sticking out was the top of the steering wheel and the lift lever. And they took and lassoed the steering wheel and just held on to it. It stayed there until the water went down, and they went and drug it out, so it didn't float away because of the lasso. And then he took it home and tore it apart completely and dried it out and cleaned her up. So, relatives are all Massey diehards. Wow. Yeah, my great uncle who got me into tractor pulling and really got me addicted to tractors, I guess you should say, he was a Farmall guy. He had probably a couple hundred Farmalls that were in all states of running, not running. Most of them were still running when he passed away. Pretty much all of them are rusted away to pieces now because nobody wanted to do anything with them, his family, and they wouldn't sell them to our family who did like them. His direct family didn't do anything with them, so it is what it is. Anyway, I'm sure they'll listen to this and be like, hey, what are you saying about us? I'd open a conversation to, hey, why didn't you let us take his tractors when they were still worth something? That's what it is. Okay, I'm going to do the top of this hood here. It's a good looking hood. I love the hood on these things. I hope I can do this one justice. I really do. There's a lot of panels on the top of it that are very subtle, but they're there. I want to make sure I get some of that detail. Okay, like that. Got a pretty whopping big reflection here. I'll try to grab and bring in. I love drawing reflections. They're just fun for me. Even if it's just, a white speck somewhere, it's like it's reflecting somewhere, something. If you can draw it right, it'll make it look just amazing. So. Okay, I can move my paper again. You're awesome at drawing these things. Thanks. These things are easy to draw for me. I really like drawing them. Like I said, I'm not a John Deere guy. Never have been. Tell from my hat. But I do like drawing. There we go. Alright, I'm going to sharpen my pencil here quick. I got some more grain bin to do. I think it would be harder for you to not do it justice. Yeah. Well, every time I say that, I mean it in sincerity. Like, I don't know if I can actually draw it or not, but it always ends up turning out. I have not yet drawn anything live where I just had to throw it away halfway through. I haven't done that. I hope never to, but that day's coming. It's coming. I know it. I'm going to be in the middle of one and be like, oh, this is awful. I'm just throwing it away. I don't think it's going to be this one, though, because we're through most of the hard parts on this one. Unless I, like, completely destroy it coming up soon. This one's turning out. I do think this one's turning out. Most of drawing is just picking out the right shapes and putting them in the right spot. That's it. That's all there is to it. Okay, we got a lot of glass here, so I'm just gonna go over that like that. And then we'll smudge her down. This picture was taken shortly after corn harvest 2019. Remember that day? I was having so much fun sending friends pictures of me in the tractor when I should have been in school. That's awesome. Oh, fall of 2019. The good old days before COVID hit. Well, if the clouds hold off as they are right now, I should be able to finish this one tonight. I guess we'll see, but I wasn't sure there for a bit. Radar does not look good. Like, radar's showing pretty nasty stuff coming in, I think. At least it did a while ago. This is a fender, underneath a fender. There's the top of the fender. And then center hub, center hub. I'm going to put a little bit of light reflection up here. Bottom of that. never got to take off school for farming. It's not something I did. My mom always had a very high standard for school. World without COVID, eh? Sick of that damn virus. You know what though? When it hit in 2020, I was doing a lot of travel for work, and I actually enjoyed that time period because the flights were empty. The only people that was going was business people that were, doing essential work, and man, it was really, really nice having all that leg room and shoulder room and space. Southwest Airlines, which I fly very regularly, they had the middle seats open on every flight for like a year and a half, and I said I was traveling a lot for work. I very much enjoyed that side of it. I went two different times. I'd go for a rental car, and once in Denver, they're like, "What type of car do you want?" I'm like, "What do you got?" And they're like, "Whatever you see out here." And I ended up getting a brand new convertible Mustang, just because nobody was renting cars. So they let you have whatever. So nice. That was the side of COVID that nobody appreciated. Now, the other side of it we got to experience too, because I've had it twice myself, from the travel. And then I ended up losing my dad to COVID, and a couple friends of the family. So there's that side of it too. I get it. But I did enjoy the positives of it. I like to look on the bright side. Absolute wizard at these things. Thanks. This is my magic wand. They're getting quicker. I remember when just a single tractor, would take me a full hour to 2 hours, like intensive drawing. And now, I'll finish the outline ahead of time. The outlines are taking about a half hour to an hour. The shading though, hour. Something like this, maybe an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 15 minutes. Parents want to learn something other than farming in post-secondary school, after school trades like electrical, plumbing, so that I understood that side of work. I do building automation controls, so I do the electrical side of the mechanical systems, and I don't regret it. I really don't regret it. It's taken me a lot of places in the world. Some nasty places, some cool places, met some cool people. I love what I do most of the time. I've moved into a more management role now, which is kind of driving me nuts lately. But then I realized I needed some job before I did too much schooling, so I decided I'm going to have to farm first to make some more money before other schooling. Yeah. I fell into the job I'm at. I went to a vocational school that was part of my high school. It was called the Carroll County Career and Technology Center. Good stuff. They basically teach you, different parts of trades for free. It's part of the public school system. It's kind of rare, but it's a really good county that I was in, really good school system. And they set me up for drafting. I wanted to be a technical drafter because I thought that was close to artwork. It really wasn't. I never enjoyed the drafting side of things, but it did get me the job I'm in, and now I get to draw for fun and have a job that pays the bills really well. So. for a while in my company, I led up our Middle East and Midwest division, so I had all the mids. So I'd be going from Omaha here to Baghdad, Iraq, or Doha, Qatar, or Kuwait City, Kuwait, all those fun places. Dubai. While I was working out of the Middle East or Midwest, working on the Middle East. So it's pretty nice getting some money sooner than later, so I can chase my hobbies later. Yeah. Well, don't be afraid to chase your hobbies for fun as you're waiting for that money to come in, because that's what I'm doing right here, chasing my hobbies. Okay. Moving on to our grain cart. Found another grain bin hiding back here that I forgot about. How many grain bins y'all got there? Jeez. Enough, I hope. Schooled woodworking and home ec cooking and sewing, which was pretty nice, but I would have kind of liked some welding or automotive experience. My high school itself had some technology stuff, mostly revolving around computers. This was in late 2000s. I graduated in 2001. We had opportunities though through the VOTEC program, which was kind of in the center of the county, and all the schools from my county went there. They did stuff like automotive technology, diesel mechanics, machine shop. My brother went to machine shop there. My dad, back in the early 70s, late 60s, went to a welding class with his school. My mom actually did cosmetology, like hair cutting stuff, through the same VOTEC program as me. So me and my brother and my mom all in the same VOTEC program for different things. I loved it. My brother went to for a machine shop, and he actually just opened his own machine shop a few months ago. Been a dream of his for years. He's 8 years older than me, so he's in his mid-40s, and he finally opened his machine shop. It's got CNC machines, milling machine, lathe, all the fun stuff. So it's good stuff. I actually got my job that I'm at now through the VOTEC program. They got me my job. They got me an interview for it. I ended up having to get it myself, but they set me up an interview for it. But it was based off of the owner of my company's stepdaughter went to the culinary arts program, cooking there, and ended up he came in to buy food for a Christmas party at an extremely discounted rate that they offered. And while he was there, he happened to see the drafting program, and he stopped in. He's like, "You got any drafters? Like, I could really use a good drafter." So ended up interviewing me off of that. So it was a really cool program. I wish more areas had stuff like that, because it really gave me a jump start on life. If you want to send you a short yard tour, I have a couple of other yards with a few bins. Nice. Each of these bins in the pick are about 5,400 bushels. We have many more. See, I can't even imagine because, you know, the farm that we had growing up, my grandfather's place, you know, we grew just enough to feed our own cattle, and didn't have that many or that much. So, you know, to think our entire farm probably couldn't even fill one of these bins, and you guys are running out of space with all of these, so it's incredible. You know, my grandfather, he kind of just took over his dad's farm, you know, back in the 70s. And, you know, it was a big farm in the 70s, but by the time we was farming it in the 90s, it was not very big. So. Now, TikTok Live ended again, so hopefully some people come over to YouTube because I'm not starting it again after that. Me and TikTok's almost done. Kind of sick of it. Man, we're getting close here. We're getting real close. Alright, I'm not drilling all the snow. I'm going to leave the ground gray. If the stream, I'll send you a little video of the short. That's cool. Growing up, we had, you know, a little 20-acre farmette. We had tons of sweet corn on, too much sweet corn. And we did most of it by hand, other than, you know, whatever we could cultivate with that little Allis Chalmers. Dad would plant it with a corn planter that we had. And after that, we'd pretty much work it by hand, pick it by hand, and everything all summer. It's kind of like a full-time job for an 8-year-old. My brother had a job by that point as a machinist, and my dad worked. My mom worked sometimes. So, what do you think? I'm looking at it now to see what I've forgotten. I don't see anything off the top. I do see right here. Got some stuff hanging down that I want to get in here. A little teeny blender for this, and then I got to do something with this stuff. Grab my eraser, clean up the edges. See something right in here I don't like. That'll do. All right. I think we're good. 57 out in the yard right now, but I still have the windows open for fresh air. I could use some open windows. I'm like sweating like a pig here. There we go. I'm going to sign over top of that with white. Just make it pop a little bit. Like that two-tone signature every once in a while. I don't use it too much, but I do like it. Drawings look awesome. Thanks. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Okay, well, I think that's about all the drawings I'm going to have for this week, unless I surprise myself and do one tomorrow or Saturday, which I doubt. That's what we got. There it is. There's that. I think it turned out good. All right. That's all I got, y'all. Thanks for stopping in. Go ahead and like, follow, subscribe if you haven't already. And appreciate each of you taking some time out of your Thursday night to watch me draw this thing. And that's all I got. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you next time. Till then, have a good one.